Everyone wants more money, but most of us weren't taught how to create an abundant life. That's where the law of attraction, manifesting success stories show comes in. If you are ready to have more money, create more freedom, and experience more fun, turn the volume up. It's time to learn how to create the prosperity and life you have been dreaming of. Here's your host, Cassie Parks.
Hello and welcome to this episode. I am back with Paulie Rojas in her 9th interview in the Years of Growth series. Welcome, Paulie.
Hey, Cassie, you said 9th, and I know that's been a magic number lately.
Yes.
It was like 9, September 9th.
Yes.
It's the 9th interview, so there I am going crazy with numbers. But yeah, it's all, you talked about it, how it's all about, like, it's more the alignment of it rather than being a crazy number lady.
Right.
Yeah, that's funny. It's my 9th interview.
Yay. I love that. And I think we talked about that on call. We didn't really talk about it. I don't think we talked about it in the interview.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I love it. So cause you said something like, I never was going to be a crazy number lady, right?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Say a little bit more about that.
Okay. So it's just funny because I feel like a lot of things get communicated through numbers, and it's all like my own decision, what it communicates, and it's always a good decision, or it's always a good thing.
Yes.
So I think just numbers kind of give me a little bit of a more like a confident edge. Yes. So I was choosing a day to record doing the Audrey, and I know we're going to go into this a little bit more, but to do something, a very special recording that's very close to my heart. And that day happened to be September 9th, which is 9/9. And my area code is 909, which is like, for people listening, it's like the Inland Empire in California. No one has that number anymore. I guess a few people do. But just like how the alignment of numbers, it's kind of like a little, like a wink almost from the universe, like a little nudge, like, yeah, you got this. That's how I take it. So, and it's never like a bad thing. Yeah. It's never like, oh, the number 9's a bad number. It's like, it's always good, no matter what the number is. And it's just a fun thing. It adds fun to it more than anything. And that's
yes, like the wink from the universe is how I see numbers. Like once in a great, like sometimes I'll look up like an address or what the numerology might mean. But for the most part, that's the way I do numbers. It's not like, oh, this totally means this or this means that. It's like when I notice or there's a series of all the same, like, yeah, like that's awesome. Yeah. Like, and I look at it more as like awareness and like creating fun in the process. Like I'm paying attention, I'm paying attention to the date and like adding to the specialness of something else.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I always, it just, like I said, it's like a fun element. It's the awareness of it that you're in alignment. And like I have like these numbers that I think they're from my childhood. They're like childhood addresses or birthdays. And they appear when I most need them. Like when I was doing my one woman show, I was like, oh, I wish my dad was here to see it, And I went to the deli to get some food, and like the amount was $8.46, and that was my first address. And that was always like the number that like I associate with my dad. So it's like, sure, whatever. But it was just a nice little, I felt a little bit happier going into my show. So I think it's more of the feeling that you let it happen, that you allow come in from the numbers.
Yes. It's all about the feeling versus like trying to make them mean something or look for their meaning.
It's always the feeling.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, me too.
So other than numbers, tell us, how has your future self been showing up lately?
Oh my God. My future self has been so like, I feel like we are so close to each other. I know that future selves are like, we practice them 5 years out, but she feels like 5 minutes out,
Yay.
Yeah. And mostly because of, I feel like I've done literally nothing, and things are popping up left and right that mean everything to me since I was a little kid. Yes. And that being everything that's unfolding with the Audrey Hepburn stuff. And I don't know, it's like maybe I visualize this, but I always think about what I want to say on calls, like all what's awesome. And I'm always like, I'm playing Audrey Hepburn, or, all this. And then literally that's what happened.
Yes.
right before going on a call, I was like, oh, what's awesome today? And Sean Hepburn texted me like, hey, did you happen to buy a copy of the little children's book I wrote when you were at the exhibition in Belgium earlier? And I was like, did I buy it? I was like, yes, I did. I got like 3 copies. But
right. I have one for all of my,
I know. Yeah.
any future child in my life.
I know. Exactly. Yeah, like, there've been like, I have inscriptions on them and everything, but I was like, oh yeah, why? And actually I didn't even ask why. He was like, I hadn't even responded actually, because I got nervous to see his text pop up. And I know now that if I'm nervous or anything, just like let it settle first and then don't react with that. So I didn't. And he was like, I have this idea. Would you like to narrate the book I wrote and say it, be part of this and be as if you're Audrey Hepburn? And I was like, ugh. And then of course I've like, it wasn't my turn to speak in the Enchanted Circle yet, but I was like dying. I was like, I have something to say. I waited my turn. And I'm like, I was just asked to, be the voice of Audrey Hepburn in her children's book that her son wrote for her. And after that, it was perfect. Like he asked me to send him 3 takes. He gave me some direction and he loved the takes. He was like, go more with this take. And he gave me a lot of liberty. He was like, just, get it done, take your time. If you can do it in 2 weeks, great, but like take your time. And so speaking of numbers, it was, I was like, okay, I think I can do this in a week. I like that it would be I could record on a Monday. And I was looking at like recording studios, and I live in New York City, so there's a million of them. And I was like, it started to become like, oh no, which one do I choose? Which recording studio do I choose? I ended up choosing one that's like an 8-minute walk from me in Brooklyn. And it had the numbers like 707. And there's something about like the number 7. And I don't know. I was like, that feels really good. It's really close to me. And I'm just going to go there. And I went there. I booked 2 hours at the recording studio. And it was like, I felt like I did nothing in there. It was just like I practiced. I did my work. I got guidance from you, Cassie, about it.
Nice.
And it was just like, it felt heavenly and magical. And like, she was in there with me. And it was the first time I really felt like I was just like a vessel. I really didn't have to do much. It just came out of me, and it was quick and it was received really well. But the advice that you gave me really set me free, which was because in the direction that Sean gave me was, yes, I want you to feel like my mother, like Audrey Hepburn, but I don't want you to be Audrey Hepburn. And I was like, yeah, because that would be kind of creepy. Like as a listener, like, what? Why? Like,
yeah.
How, he was like, I just want you to have the feeling of her. Mm-hmm. And so to me, I was like, oh, but I don't know what, like, because I've loved Audrey Hepburn for so long, like, I feel like I can like imitate her.
Yeah.
But what he was saying was exactly what not to do. Like, don't imitate. We don't want an imitation.
Right.
Like, we've already had an Audrey Hepburn. We don't need an imitation, like a copycat. And so I was like, Cassie, what do I do? And it was beautiful. What you said was like, to highlight like the feelings of Audrey Hepburn, that what she conjures up for me. And in that, like, I'll show up too. Like me, Paulie, will show up. Mm-hmm. So when I think of Audrey Hepburn, I think of like her charm and her simplicity and her elegance and her kindness and her humanity and her love, all this warmth, tenderness, all these things. Mm-hmm. And you were like, okay, so find those places to highlight that when you read them and just like trust that. And so as I was rehearsing it, I just, I focused on the feelings that I wanted to convey. Mm-hmm. And I feel like more of Audrey popped up and more of me popped up. So it was like, it was just like a win-win for everyone, like me showing up as well as Audrey. Yes. So it was just a really like this, I can't even describe it, but like it felt, I think it's overused, but the word spiritual, mm-hmm. It felt like spirited. Yes. And I guess inspired comes from spirit, right? But it really felt like I was like almost like she was holding my hand. Mm-hmm. It just, I don't know, that advice really set me free of like, just highlight the feelings that I want to convey that represent who she is to me.
Mm-hmm.
and everything will be taken care
of. I love that. It's so good.
Yeah, it felt really good.
Yeah. And so I love that. And how do you think how will you take that into like future acting gigs as well? Or voiceover or anything?
Yeah. So it's funny because after that I had like some voiceover auditions, and it's funny because yesterday I got this voiceover audition that they wanted me to sound like this Mexican actress. I hadn't heard of her, but they were like, sound like her. And which, now that I'm thinking, it's like exactly what like Sean was saying, like don't sound like her, just kind of feel like her.
Yeah.
And so I knew that like the Mexican actress's voice is very low, and I have not a low voice at all. And I was like, okay, maybe I can use this. It's the feeling of the actress, and she's fun and spunky and like quick and witty, so that's the feeling. So I can just highlight that in my own voice. And I don't know if I got it or not, but it was like, before I would have been like, oh, I got to sound exactly like this person. Yeah. But there's no art to that, to sound like somebody, right? The art is in I guess it's what like personalities are the persona that comes out, like honoring the person.
Yeah.
Not like imitating a person.
Yes.
Yeah. So I don't know if that makes any sense, but it's like, more importantly, I feel like what's popping up is like, what's the feeling I want to give in an audition, not what I believe that they're looking for. It's like, what do I get to like? I can decide. I want them to feel like happy, or I want them to feel understood. I want them to feel educated. I want them to feel powerful because I gave them that feeling. Yes. So I'm playing more and more with that, and I think it's going to lead to something really, really big. But also, it's funny because if I don't get like I didn't get what job was it? It was like, I don't know, like a McDonald's job. I'm like, I can't be disappointed if I didn't get this McDonald's job, because I know that there's something big at work with Audrey Hepburn.
Yes.
So it's like it really puts things in perspective. Like, sure, it's not McDonald's, but in the works is like everything, like your life's work that you've loved your entire life since childhood.
Yes.
Yeah.
And what I love about you is your what I see from the outside as an actor is you're lining up more with that life's work, like that person, right? And not just going for anything. Like we've coached through that and like taking on like roles, but really, and so being true to that is really where even more magic starts to happen, right? Because it's like when it's like, this is my life's purpose, not just these little things over here, but this is it. Like the universe can start giving you the big things because you're clear. Like we talk about clarity a lot in LOA, and everybody thinks that means like, I need to know exactly what I want. Like I want to play this role, and I want to do this, and I want to do this. But like the clarity really comes from that life and that being that you're stepping into, like this whole life of who I want to be, which are these things. And so the universe can deliver those big things because you're not murky about like trying to get those little things anymore.
Right. And I would put all this effort in the past into like getting a little thing.
Yeah.
Whereas like we don't have to do that, right. Just be the clarity of like, and it always comes down to the feeling, and like that'll happen in acting or in traveling or humanitarian work. Like that feeling will always be there. So I can just trust that it's going to come, and I don't know what form, but like so far it's been pretty incredible. So I can trust that. Yeah. And you said something that I wanted to, I mean like just the trusting. And this plays into like the hesitation. Like before I was like, I felt the need to like tell everyone that no, I'm talented. Like I don't have an acting job, but I'm talented. Like, believe me, like I'm really good. I felt like, see, like even so-and-so said this. And that was my thing with my commercial agent is I asked you like, oh, I got the tracks, or I sent the recording to Sean, and Sean said all these amazing things that I like I dreamed of him saying. Should I tell my agent? Like I want to share it with my agent. And a part of me was like, no, you can share it, but you don't have to tell him what anyone said. Like he can have his own opinion of it. and it's never happened before. I always was like, yeah, look, and they said this, and they think I'm a star, you know?
Yes.
And so I was like, I just asked Cassie, and I just deliberated, like, should I ask Cassie, or is this something I can do on my own? Nah, just ask Cassie. Why not tell? And you were like, let's talk about this because it's a big thing. It's a big shift, about the hesitation means like, it's not inspired. And more importantly, like, I don't have to share what everyone says about me, because if, you know, the future star, everyone already knows that. So she's just in the beingness of it. And so I've had these really cool, like, private moments where lately people ask me, like, oh, so what's going on? How's acting? And all I say is, like, it's going really well. Like, I don't say anything. I just know how it's going, like, dream ways that they don't have to know it yet. They're going to find out, you know? And the cool thing is they're not going to find out from me. They're going to find out from something really cool, and I'll hear from them and they'll be like, oh my God, that's so cool. You know?
Yes.
Like, having these private moments with myself and knowing what I am is more important than having to share it. And that's a big shift for me.
Oh, that is so, I mean, that's a big shift for you, huge, right?
Yeah.
And in the creation of magic and next level magic, like that's where it is, right? Because now you know it, and that's the most powerful force, is like really owning it and knowing it, like inside, and like just for me. And it's like the ultimate trust. Like, I don't have to tell you how good I am.
Right. Yeah. Which is like a deep, I think many actors have this, but for me especially, like, I want people to know, like, that I have a little bit of talent, you know? But now it's like, it doesn't matter. Because I know that, like, I know what I can offer, and that's actually the most important thing, and that'll show up, and then everyone else will catch on, you know?
Yes.
So, yeah. And it was cool because when I told you what Sean said, you were like, how are you going to celebrate? And I hadn't thought about it. And I was like, oh, later I'll go to, like, my local dive bar and have a glass of champagne. And I went by myself, and, like, it was just a cool private moment. Like, I was celebrating just on my own. No one had to know, but it felt so good that it was like, I don't know, like, I felt like I was in a deeper relationship with myself.
Yeah.
And it felt really nice. So thank you for suggesting that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I have goosebumps. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, good. I know. I've had, like, goosebumps after goosebumps. But the other thing is, like, the only people I've told about Sean are, like, you, my mom, and my boyfriend. And all three of you guys had the same response, which was like, of course, you know, like, it's like not news for you guys because you see me at my best and as my future self, you know? And it's like, yeah, if I were to tell, like, I know I it's not time to share with anyone because they would be like, oh, wow, really? You know, like, they're not there yet. So I didn't, like, that was kind of like the clue, the insight for me. It's like, I told the right people because they see it as oh, well, of course this is happening.
Yes.
So that was nice. Yeah.
That is such a juicy nugget, like you just gave listeners, because I think one of the biggest things that people have a challenge with is in their LOA journey is like, what do I share? Right. And you just gave them this beautiful example. Like, you share those amazing things with the people who are like, of course.
Well, duh. Yeah.
You know? Yeah. Because it's just like, okay, this is normal. Right.
Yeah. Right. It's not special. And my boyfriend was like, he's like, I'm sorry. I'm just not surprised. He's like, I'm so happy for you, but I'm just, like, not surprised. And I was like, that's the best thing you could say. Like, that he just sees me that way.
Yeah.
You know? And, like, we went to a wedding, and again, like, people ask me, oh, how's acting? Like, if I were to say that, they'd be like, oh my God, that's crazy. Audrey Hep, you know? And I'm like, right. I don't need that anymore. It's like, it's a different, like, I do feel super, like, so different and so grown up in a sense. Like, I have that for myself, and that's, like, priceless.
Yes. That's so awesome. And this ties into something else I want to talk about, which was, like, you had this moment as well, which ties into this all, like, it's becoming you. You said something, we were actually on a coaching call about being excited and, like, being able to be excited for yourself.
Yeah. I mean, to me, this is the most exciting thing that has ever happened to me in my entire life. This is like winning the lottery for me, or
Yes.
this is, and so I feel so deserving of when people are like, that's so exciting, to be like, of course, yeah, it like, instead of being like, well, yeah, but what's exciting with you? Like,
Right.
like this is like, or sharing the credit, not the credit, but sharing the, like, sharing the excitement, like it's not my own, that I have.
Right.
Like I'm obligated to make people feel good about it. I don't feel that at all. And I think that that's honoring of not just me, but it's honoring of when other people have their excitement happen.
Yes.
That it's all theirs, and it's like we can all stop and take a moment for them, because I was able to do it for myself. And I also shared how, like, when you and Jenny share about what you're excited about, you're fully in, you're not like sharing the excitement. It's like, I'm so excited about this for myself. And then in turn, like, that's what taught me that, like, yeah, of course you're excited for yourself. This is yours. This is like, I'm honored to be excited for you,
Yes.
So it feels good. I always felt it was maybe like an arrogant thing or a selfish thing to not share the excitement. But now it's the honoring thing to do, is to own your excitement for yourself and others. Yeah.
Yes. Oh, it so is. It's so beautiful.
Yeah. I feel like I couldn't be, it's not honest to be half excited for myself, but then fully excited for someone else.
Right.
Like, it doesn't match up. So I have to be like 100% excited for me. And that means I'm genuinely 100% excited for someone else.
Yes.
It's just more authentic too.
It's such a gift, like all the way around. It's such a gift to yourself, and like energetically, anytime we're only putting like 50% of the energy behind it, right? We can only get back 50%. Like we're not fully fueling, our own rocket,
Yeah. So you can't fuel other people's rockets, because it doesn't compute, You haven't done it for yourself. Yeah. So, I know, it's a cool feeling.
Yes. Oh, I love it. And we talked, so I want to talk about learning to trust the hesitation.
Yeah.
Right. Of like, So let's do, you can introduce the story and talk about like how this came up of like hesitating.
About telling
your agents. About this.
Right.
Yeah.
So I just signed with them, and they're a great agency, and I haven't booked anything yet with them. I've gotten close, but I haven't booked with them. And so my old self is like, uh-oh, you haven't booked, like, this isn't good. They're going to drop it, old stories. And then I have this amazing Audrey Hepburn recording with the family. I'm like, oh, well, I'll just share that with them, and it's going to make things better, And then I was like, well, no, but wait a minute. Like, why am I doing that? I'm doing that out of fear, like that they forgot that they liked me, or that they forgot that I have any talent at all. And like, the only reason to do that was, at first I thought it was to share how cool this is, but like, they will find out when it's a finished product,
Yes.
And so the hesitation, then I had the awareness to be like, okay, this is coming from fear. This is coming from like scarcity, that I haven't booked anything and I have to please them. Right. And then with your guidance, it was true. Like, I don't have to do that because it's not inspired. If it's hesitant, it's not, it's very clearly, there's no inspiration in hesitation.
Right.
And what I've learned is to trust if there's any kind of I don't know, it's not inspiration, because inspiration is like banging down your door. It's like slapping in the face, right?
Yes.
So I know that that's not inspiration. And the best thing to do with hesitation is to do nothing. And it's getting so much easier now, because doing nothing has literally worked every time for me.
It has. I just had this like highlight reel of all the times that like you did nothing over the past 18 months. And I was like,
and I'm here now.
Yeah,
exactly. And so it's been do nothing. It's been like, yeah, you can like think about it and, and then put it away, but don't email, don't call, don't like talk about it, just do nothing. So I did that. And then Sean texted me and was like, for your information, our editor is putting your voice, your composition to high resolution pictures of the book, where it looks like the camera is moving with the pictures as your voice is talking. I was like, oh, that's going to be so cool.
Right?
Yeah. Like, I didn't even I'm so glad for the hesitation and the awareness, because Sean, just without me even asking, is keeping me updated on everything. And it's better than I could ever imagine, that he's like, I feel like he's doing all the work. I'm just like here having, a conversation with you and having fun. Yeah. But I think that it's like, do nothing. Inspiration is so, it just grips you. There's no doubt that it's inspiration.
Yes.
So unless it's that, then the best thing is to just breathe and go, have a glass of wine or go to the park or
go do something awesome. I love it. And I loved it. Oh, go ahead.
No, that's it.
Oh, and I loved what you said too, because you were like, oh, of course I wasn't, like, the hesitation was like, I wasn't supposed to send it to my agents yet because I'm going to send them the finished product.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I'm going to send them the whole, like with the works and the fireworks and the, and the cool, dings that audiobooks have,
Yeah.
It's going to be beautiful the way it is. Yeah.
Yeah. Versus oh, I just recorded some stuff. Here it is. Yeah, be excited about that. This is kind of nothing, because it's kind of I just put this together now, but sharing that, it was sort of nothing. It's almost the same as sharing nothing, because it's oh, I recorded something, which anyone could go to a studio and record something, right?
Right.
But it's the finished product that's oh, you're amazing.
Yeah, here you go. And it's presented by
Catherine
family. Yeah, exactly. Versus so that was, and I'm so happy that I asked it, because you pointed out why this hesitation was so important. I knew it was something, but the fact that you pointed out why it's such a huge shift is pointing me towards the next really big shift. Just that awareness. So yeah.
I love it. It's so awesome. Yeah. And I also, for those listening, I loved the inspiration grips you. It's one of the best ways of saying it I've ever heard, because it does. It's the thing that it's not the thing that you want. It's the thing that gets you and you have to do.
Yeah. It's how the recording happened so easily. So easy. It was a 5-10 minute walk for me.
Yeah.
So I had the best audio engineer. Everything about it was really, really awesome.
Yeah. And then you came home and you're and you made it to the call, which was awesome. It was oh, I'm just going to now I'm going to pop into a call and share how awesome it was.
Yeah. And I think I shared I know that the recording wasn't perfect, I'm sure that there were things, but what was really significant was how I felt so good about it.
Yeah.
I felt like I couldn't, even in the imperfections, it was perfect for me. And then, of course, oh my God, and this is what's so crazy. I think I shared it with you. I definitely did. But so, you send it off. There's nothing you can do. It's exciting and it's nerve-wracking, but overall I was it's going to be fine. This just feels too good not to be fine. Of course, Sean sends me the nicest texts ever. And then, so he's in Italy and it's a 6-hour difference for me. So at 4 a.m, 10 a.m. his time, I hear all these dings, and it's I was oh, who could that be? And it's Sean saying that he listened to my takes and he was really touched by them. And then he goes, and as a thank you, here's a little song for you with a YouTube link. And I was oh, what could it be, right? And so I open it, and this was where I was whoa. But it was this old opera song that my dad sang to me as a little girl that I hadn't heard in a decade. And so, and the song is called Amapola, and it's Italian, and I think it's a Spanish song. But so my full name is Anna Paula, and my dad used to sing Anna Paula instead of Amapola. He would switch it, and I was so the YouTube link was this opera song that my dad used to sing to me, but he would change, it wasn't So the name of the song is Amapola, which is a flower. And my full name is Anna Paula. And so my dad, instead of singing Amapola, he would sing Anna Paula. And it just struck me because I was like, that's so crazy. And I told him, oh my God, my dad used to sing me this song because my full name is Anna Paula. And Sean said, yeah, that's why I sent it to you, because I know your full name is Anna Paula. So the fact that he knew my full name, I don't know, there was too much magic and too much ease and effortlessness that this isn't something like, it's just, I think, something cosmic, I think. But it was really, yeah. I like started crying immediately and like call my mom. But it was such a touching moment. So I don't know what's going to happen, but I have a feeling it's going to be good.
Absolutely. It's amazing. I'm so excited. Do you have any final thoughts to share today on all of this and like inspiration and magic? And oh my gosh, it's just so good.
I remember once hearing a long time ago that like a woman, she said, everything that you ever, like whatever you really, 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 really want, you always get. Like you always get the things that you deeply want more than anything, like you get them. And I feel like this is something that I've wanted, really, 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 really wanted. And it's all unfolding so seamlessly and beautifully. And that was like a worry growing up, was like that I wouldn't get this, or that I really had to muscle and effort through it. But it's been the opposite. It's been like a joy. And on top of that, like that I have you in the Enchanted Circle that I get to share that with is really something I couldn't have ever imagined.
That's awesome. I love it. What is it like to have that space? Since you brought it up, I'm going to ask one more question. Like, what is it like to have that space where you can go like full on, be excited for yourself and like share and have that like reflected back to you?
It feels like, oh God, it feels like I feel pretty invincible. I feel like it feels like fearless, because anything can happen, literally anything can happen. And I'm like, oh, but I get what I want, you know? And so, and I really like, I would love for me to be an example for other people the way you are, that like, you get what you want, Cassie, I get what I want, and anyone else can get what they want if that's how they like align. If they align into it, they can do that too. So it just feels like really powerful, and it just makes me extremely happy.
Oh, yay. I love it.
Yeah. So
cool. Well, tell everyone how they can follow you on Instagram and see all the awesome things that you're doing.
So for the Audrey Hepburn fans, it's a play on words with Holly Golightly. So it's Paulie Golightly, PAULIE_Golightly, GOLIGHTLY.
Yay. That's awesome. Oh, so awesome. Thank you so much for sharing this moment in your journey with us. I know like everyone is going to be listening and be like, oh man, I can't wait to see what happens next.
Oh my God. Yes. And thank you times a million to you, Cassie.
Absolutely. My pleasure. And thank you all for listening, and make sure to come back and check out Paulie's next interview in her Years of Growth series.
Thank you for joining us on the Law of Attraction, Manifesting Success Stories show. To learn how to identify your current money story, go to identifyyourmoneystory.com.